All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to crack open one of the biggest secrets in sailing. I'm talking about the one thing that really separates the good sailors from the truly great ones out on the racecourse. It's the key to unlocking some serious speed.
So, it all boils down to this one simple question. You see the top teams out there, right? They're constantly adjusting, shifting their wake, trimming the sails, and it's all in the pursuit of this one perfect, consistent angle of lean. But why? Why are they so obsessed with it? I promise you, it's not just about looking cool. It's about pure, raw performance.
The term for this is heel angle, and the best way to think about it is like an airplane's wing. Your keel and your rudder, they're basically wings under the water. And just like a plane, they need the perfect angle of attack to generate lift and drive you forward. If you heel over too much, you lose that grip, you start slipping sideways. But if you get it just right, oh man, that's when you're flying.
To make this super concrete, let's talk numbers. For a really popular racing boat, the J70, when the wind is pumping and that boat is at full power, the magic number is 12 degrees. Not 11, not 13, 12. That's the level of insane precision these top teams are aiming for every single second.
So how in the world do you find and hold on to that perfect angle? For that, we're going to lean on the expertise of pro sailor Chris Twiggy Grube to help us understand the art and the science of finding that sailor's sweet spot. Now here's the first big takeaway. That sweet spot isn't just one number. Nope, it's a moving target that totally depends on the conditions. So in that same J70, if it's light winds, you're actually aiming for something like 8 degrees. Then, when you're at full power, that's our magic 12 degrees. But if you push it past 14 degrees, you're just wasting energy going sideways. And Twiggy points out a really common trap here. He says some boats, like the J70, don't give you a ton of feedback through the rudder. It feels kind of neutral. So it's super tempting to let the boat heel over just a little bit more, to feel the pressure, to feel like the boat's working. But he warns that this is a total trap. You might feel more connected, but what you're actually doing is killing your speed. So this is really the most crucial point. Yeah, electronic gadgets are great for getting feedback, but the absolute best sailors, they develop this instinct, this mental gauge. They can just feel the correct angle through the seat of their pants. And that internal feeling, it's way faster and way more accurate than looking at any screen. Okay, so how do we actually put this into practice? Let's build a playbook. Now, when it comes to controlling that heel angle, your first and most important tool, it's not a rope, it's not a winch, it's you. It's your body weight. Here's the basic toolkit, and it's pretty simple. When you're in anything less than full power conditions, your number one control is your crew's weight. You see a lull in the wind, you move in. A gust is coming, you move out. It's really that simple. It's only when everyone is already hiking as hard as they possibly can that you start reaching for the boat's controls to tune the engine.
And using your body weight isn't a static thing. It's a dynamic dance. You can never just be sitting still. The whole crew has to be on their toes, ready to move at a moment's notice. On the J70, Twiggy says the jib trimmer is usually the first one to shift. But the real magic, the thing that makes the boat go fast, is when the entire crew moves as one, perfectly coordinated unit.
Okay, so the wind is up. Your crew is maxed out, hiking as hard as they can, but the boat still wants to heel over too much. What do you do now? Well, now it's time to stop moving the people and start tuning the engine. And that's the rig. And listen, there is a very specific order to this. First, you pull on the backstay. That bends the mast and really flattens out the mainsail, spilling power. Next, you can add some tension to the Vang and Cunningham to flatten it even more. The absolute last resort, the final lever you pull when you've done everything else, is easing the Traveler. A super common mistake is to ease it first, and that just instantly costs you power and height. Now, we get to the mindset that truly separates the elite from everybody else. It's not about just reacting to what the boat is doing right now. It's about acting based on what it's about to do. So picture this. You're looking up the course, and you see that dark patch on the water. A gust is coming. Right then, you have a choice. You can be reactive, wait for it to hit, then scramble like crazy, or you can be proactive, making small, calm adjustments before it even arrives. And this, right here, is the golden rule from Twiggy. He says one person on the boat should always have the job of calling the wind, because a tiny early adjustment, a little ease on the main sheet, a slight shift in weight, is infinitely better than a massive, late correction that throws the whole boat off balance. But hey, let's be real. What happens when you get it wrong? You know, when a massive gust and a big wave hit you at the exact same time and you start to lose control. Let's talk about the crisis playbook.
The pros actually have a word for this moment. They call it the stagger. It's that awful, gut-wrenching feeling when the boat gets knocked off its feet, the rudder loses its grip, and you're not really sailing anymore. You're just trying to survive. You are way past your optimum heel angle and deep in the red zone.
When this happens, the first rule is simple. Do not panic. You just hit the reset button. The trimmers ease the main and the jib at the same time to dump all that extra power. Everyone works together to get the boat back upright, and then, calmly, you focus on finding that perfect heel angle again, getting back into that sweet spot, that groove.
Which, brings us all the way back to our final question. We've got these incredible electronics now that can tell us our heel angle down to a fraction of a degree, but as the best in the world tell us, the real key is developing that internal gauge, that instinct. So what matters more? Is the secret to speed and the data on the screen, or is it in the feeling in your gut? That's a question every sailor has to answer for themselves out on the water.